Hello guys, welcome to this series of video. Uh, I want to record this video to enable you to understand topics of object-oriented programming. I know these days we are surrounded with lots of graphical user interface programs on all of computers, mobile phones, but for understanding them, we need to be able to understand the object-oriented programming, which is very easy and very convenient method of programming. Uh, I just want to show you how to deal with it and make you ready to carry out more projects on mobile phones, Windows, and other systems. This intention of this program is mobile programming more than Windows programming, but to understand mobile programming I have to start from Windows a little. I chose C# because I know all of you know C++ programming a little, simple stuff like variables, functions, routines, all of these things. So it's better to start with C#, but in another form of dealing with objects and classes, which is the basic of programming, UI programming, and it's of course useful for other systems. For these videos you need some small changes on your computer, installing two software at least. One of them is Microsoft Visual Studio. I prefer 2012. If you install 2010, it's fine. So it's just like searching on Google, write Visual Studio 2012. First link is download Microsoft Visual Studio 2012 and download one of the versions. Express versions is fine. You can download the trial packages or express versions, whatever you want. Even 2010 is fine. You can download the Visual C# 2010 Express or 2012 version for Windows 8 or Windows Desktop. It's fine. So we can work with all of them. And if you want to use Ultimate, it's fine. You have 90 days of trial. I use the Ultimate version. That's so I can show you on Ultimate version. But there is no difference when you want to build a project on it. It's fine. Any of them is okay. Another tool is Android SDK. Just on Google again, Android SDK. Just write that one. Yeah, Android application developers. And here is your link. Just download it, and I talk about the installation later. Actually, you don't need to install them. Just unzipping them is fine. Unzipping the package is fine. We can use it easily. So that's fine. This is the whole thing we need in the whole series. Okay, I open this one. This is your first page. When you open this Visual Studio.net, you see the first page, and here you have new project, and on 2010 10 is pretty similar to this one. You can use just new project, and under the C# node, C# Windows Forms applications. So I just accept it. Okay, that's it. This is our first page. I have my toolbox here. I have my form here. It gives me a form, a default form. I have Solution Explorer here and properties. But let's talk about what are they, what are objects, and what they do. Actually, we need to deal with objects. We cannot use variables as a button, for example. Let me bring a button for you. I just drag and drop it on my form. Okay. I have button 1 on my form. Actually, form 1, you see here, form 1, the name is form 1, and button 1 are objects. Object of button and object of form. So but what is the features of these objects? uh, they they have a they have an entity. Their entity is, this entity is button. If you can system Windows forms that button, so uh, the their entity is button, and the entity of this form is form. Like for example, human, the entity of human, but we each of us is one instance of human entity, and we have different properties like different weight, different genders, different nationalities, but all of us are human. That's the thing on object oriented. You have an entity, we call it class form, and you have an instance of it, it's called form 1, and each of them have some features. Button 2, button 1, and I can bring another one, button 2. So they are exactly the same, but their name is different. But button 1 and 2 can be different in properties. This can be bigger, this can be smaller. Their location on the form is different, so they have different things. On my right hand side I have my property explorer. I can click on this one, I can see the properties. There are lots of properties, but the thing I want you to note now is property of text, which is a text written on the button. So I write, for example, hello world. That's it. It's big, but let it be. There are other classes that you can bring an instance of that class on your form. It's called text box. I put a text on my form, and there are lots of properties again, from location, size, color, back color, font color, and all of them are just properties of this specific object. Okay, so I can assign a text to it, or I can do it later in the code. So I need to access the code that can access the properties of these objects. Another thing about objects, they have something called events. For example, if I click on this one, an event on this object, an event click on this object will happen. Then if I listen to that event, I can handle it. I can write a code for it that whenever this event happens, I want to do something. So in C# is pretty easy. It's a little harder in other systems, but in C# it's very easy. You just need to, in the designer, just double click on that. If you double click, it gives you a function that handles the click event of that button. You see private void button 2 underscore click, and there's something in it. I'll talk about it later. But you remember, you can easily access the properties through properties explorer. But in the code, there is a specific notation that enables me to access the objects. So now I have object here. Text box 1 is my object name. So of course, like human, they have names. We have to refer to them with their names. So if I want to use text box 1, I have to call it with its name. So I write here text box 1, and if I want to access the properties inside that object, I can use a dot. A dot notation gives me this auto member list, which is full of all of its properties, events, and other things. These kind of things I talk about it later. Okay, I write text box text. Okay, then I assign it. All of you know the string will be in the quotations, and you know it in C. Same thing here, and everything finishes with this. Every statement finishes with semicolon, and I write hello world. This is our very first program, so I can run it. Okay, let's run it. I just press this start, or I can press F5. Okay, oh bingo. Now I have my form that I can deal with. Now I have my text box filled with this one. If I remove this one, I can put it back again, hello world. Oh, this form has some other properties. For example, size. I can resize it on my screen. I can minimize it, I can maximize it, or I can use this one, I can close it. That's it. This is our very first program. That you see how easy to handle such a event and how to deal with these functions, handling functions. So okay, we said that uh, they are objects, they have classes, like the classes are something like entity, like human. They can know this one is an instance of the class of button, like me, that I'm instance of human. I hope so. Yeah. And this one is the entity is text box, and this guy is text box one is an instance of class text box one. So then we talked about properties. I can access properties with dot notation. I want to access the text property. I use dot notation, and I can assign it to something. That's it. Okay. If I want to see the events of this object, on Property Explorer, I can press this Zeus sign. I don't know what is it. Spark or something. Then I can see all of the events that this object can respond to. And pretty lots of them, but don't worry about them. We don't deal with all of them, with some of them. But what other properties? Let's just play with this a little. I just want to play. It's just a demo. I don't want to go to details. Just playing with colors and all of these things. So I have 4 color. I can change it to active caption blue, or changes to blue. Wow, bingo. I can if I can find the background color. Okay, background color, I can make it black. I can change everything I want. I can do lots of things. I can even change the make it enable or disable. If I disable it, I cannot access it when I run it. I can put an image in it. If you want to have image on it, you can put the image, make it an image button for yourself. I can change the size. I can change the text align. I can put it here. I can put it just graphical thing. Just click on them wherever you want. Okay, I prefer the middle one. And lots of other things. And one of the properties are visible. It's nice. If I make it false, it's visible here, but when I run it, it becomes invisible. It's nice. I like it. I use it too much. So these are the properties of button. The properties of text is almost the same with some different things. It has the font size. I can change the font. Just clicking on them gives you this font explorer. I can make it 10. I can make it bold, oblique. I can change the name of the font, and you can see the result easily. It changes the font. That's it. This is object-oriented programming. It's very easy, very convenient, very easy to deal with. We don't use procedures in this kind of programming like we do in C#, we do in C++, as you have passed that course, C++ programming 1, I believe it was the programming 1. It was just console things, just some text coming and going from console, but this one is different. This one you can do lots of things in graphical thing, and you have lots of objects and classes deal with them, and they are just very easy to work with them. Okay, I want to go through some other of these tools. You can see them. How can I use them? You have seen it lots of times in your life. From the day you started using computers, you have seen them a lot, but I want to show you they are all readily available, they are pre-programmed for you, but you can just drag and drop it on your forms and make them work. So one of the things, checkboxes, I put it here. If I can find combo box, combo box here. Combo box like this one, you can put something in it and you can run them. Let's put some item in it. Combo box has a property called items. Here, if I can find it, yes, items, a collection of items. I can assign some items to it. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. If I run it, I can see all of these items here. I can choose between them. I can do whatever I want. The other components may be attractive for you is label. If I want to show just something as information, I can use label. So for example, first name. I want to show, this field that accepts first name. I can use it as a label. That's it. Okay, now a text box beside it. So this field indicates that here you should put your first name. Radio buttons, of course you know them. You have seen it a lot in computers, and you know what they do. And what else? I think it's enough. These small components I showed you are fine. We can start working with them. We can build lots of programs only based on these small components. Only this, I don't know how many of them, 4, 5, 6. And there is another interesting thing called menus. If I come down here, I have menus and toolbars. I can just put a double click on the menu strip. Now I have the menu strip. Let me bring this down. By just clicking and typing, I can make my menu. Okay, so I have the menu file. I click on this one. Menu edit. Let's make it like this. New, open. I just click on them. Okay, here I have new. I have open. In new is, for example, document. If I run it, you see all of these changes. That fast, that easy. You don't need to be very worried about this thing. Just graphical user interface of C# and other tools gives you the power to build them as soon as possible. And they're easy to deal with them. They're just like buttons. If I double click on them, it gives me a function that handles the click event. So I can copy and paste this one here, and instead of this, what was it? Document. So I can write, okay, document is clicked. Okay, that's it. Okay. I think this video was a very good introduction to C#. In next video we will have some other stuff, some a little more advanced things, dealing with different objects, how to convert data types together, and a review of data types, and that's it. So I will welcome questions in the comments, and that's it. See you in the next video.